Uncle Gold Clips.
However, Kwajalein Atoll is extremely humid, and it's basically a strip of sand about 200 meters long and saltwater ocean all around. And salt water and humidity don't react well with nuts and bolts and rocket parts. So there was a lot of corrosion issues and stuff. And so the first 3 flights of the Falcon 1 rocket failed. One of them, the payload actually, the rocket blew up in flight, and then the payload in the nose cone section continued upwards and then fell right back down and landed inside its own shipping container on the island. So yeah, kind of ironic. The company was burning through that cash that Musk had since the ousting from PayPal, and they had enough left for, well, initially they thought they had enough for 3 flights. They managed to scrounge together a little bit more. I think Musk had to mortgage his house. He was, or sell his house. He was sleeping on friends' couches at this point because it was when the financial crash happened. Tesla was also on the rocks. This was 2008 at this point, and so they were really running on fumes. But they had enough of the 4th rocket complete and enough cash to get it on the pad that they could make another attempt. And I think it was only like a month later, which in spaceflight terms is pretty incredibly fast, especially for a new company, that they launched the 4th flight. And they didn't, at this point, they had destroyed 3 customers' payloads because of the failed launches prior to that. So nobody had the confidence to actually fly in them. So they just had a mass simulator, a heavy piece of metal on top of the rocket to demonstrate that they could launch something to orbit.
Sorry, Brendan. The first 3, did they actually have payload in them that was going somewhere to the ISS, or was it just like experimental with, I don't know, cargo that's there just to fill up the weight?
No, the first 3 were paying customers. They had satellites on board. There were at least one of them had payloads from, I forget the name of the company, but it was a company that offered burials in space, and so your loved one would be one would be cremated, and then some portion of their ashes would be loaded into a very small little capsule and put aboard this rocket. And in fact,
very interesting.
Yeah, one of them carried the ashes of, I think it was either Gene Roddenberry or James Doohan, who would be, Gene Roddenberry was the creator of Star Trek. James Doohan played Scotty on Star Trek. And so one of them did. Now, they technically got to space because after the rocket exploded, the payload went up above the atmosphere and then fell down again. But yeah, so it's, anyway, they did have paying customers on those flights.
Mm-hmm.
So Musk's original cash investment plus the payment that those customers made, minus, of course, the payout that they had to make after they lost the payloads, left them with enough money to do flight number 4. Mm. But this one was one with a mass simulator, basically a fake satellite on top. And that 3rd failure that had happened was a single line of code that needed to be changed. Mm. The rocket needed to wait just a few more seconds before it activated the 2nd stage engine after separating from the lower part of the rocket, because the lower part had collided with the 2nd part, or the 2nd stage, and damaged the engine prior to activation of it. And then
that made it explode.
Yeah, exactly. So they added a few seconds to the counter, launched it, and the 4th flight succeeded. They got the demonstration article into orbit. And that saved the company because they managed to get a 5th and 6th flight booked on the Falcon 1. And that demonstrating their capabilities meant that NASA was now willing to invest more money in them. So they were given the Commercial Orbital Transportation Services contract on foot of that, which was worth $1.6 billion to them.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the full version, go to the Uncle Gold Podcast YouTube channel or watch the next clip.